hanging from a thread till you dead. Cause your partner put a price on your head. Cause your chick was laying up in his bed. She getting details, spilling every word that you said. She working retail, thirsty bitch just trying to get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale, a fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep part. You a savage, you can have it, just show all your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, a soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this lands for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shivering, it's a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers was shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving. What is poppin', my people? Welcome back to Shy Ill Reacts. I am your host, Shy Ill, and we are back in the building. Salutes to you. I appreciate y'all for being here on this lovely hump day evening. All right, got a couple of things to cover. Salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Everybody that's on the road, all my truck drivers, salutes to you. Safe travels. Anybody else out there on the road, safe travels, all right? We are in the building. We're going to do some kicking it. Salutes. What's popping, y'all? All right? I got one interruption that may happen shortly, but we're going to get into it. A couple of things we're going to get into today. First and foremost, we're going to get into the Diddy update. Diddy has a law firm that stepped forward today with what it says to be 100 new victims that are about to sue. 100 new victims. That's a lot of victims right there. All right. So we're going to look into that. We're going to listen to that press conference. We're also going to cover the Ioan Grillo. I always call him Ian Grillo, but I guess his name's pronounced Ioan Grillo. Ioan Grillo is, he did Ironclad. All right. And he's been on the ground in Sinaloa. So I'm definitely want to hear what he got to say. And if there's time after that, there might be some Kim Porter book stuff. But, you know, we'll play that by ear. But salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. All right. And we're going to kick it off quick. Let me throw my hundreds up in the chat. Bow, 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 bow. Salutes to y'all. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. And let's hang out. All right, we got Jonathan Pantoja. Salute Shy Ill, my dude. Shout out to the Ill Cartel members and the chat here to enjoy some great quality content. Salutes to you, sir. Shout out Albert Flores. I don't know if you was the first like. Albert, Jonathan might want to fight you over that one. Shout out Luis Garcia. Deb Heiser, salutes to you. Shout out JFL on the check-in. Again, salutes to Albert Flores. Salutes Eddie Jimenez, Velez 408. Shout out Raven Jefferson. She said, hello, gang. Love the intro, brother. I scratch my head when I see I shake my head when I see my favorite YouTube channels not making millions on TV when they grind and are talented and very in tune with their subbies like you, bro. Salutes to you, Raven. I appreciate you, man. We working hard. We trying to get there. So we'll keep it moving. We'll just keep the pressure on everybody to hit that like button. Salutes. But I appreciate you. Y'all the ones that keep me coming back. Shout out my brother Oso on the check-in. Shout out Chucky Chingon. Salutes to you, sir. Right. Let's get into this this Diddy press conference. All right. I'm hearing from the little bit that I heard of it today on the homie Zaya's channel over there at Ease the Crave. From the little bit I saw of it, I heard some disturbing shit. Again, I don't know where it comes from, and this is gonna take the rumor mill and the speculation. Everything that was disclosed today is gonna take all that speculation, all of that shit, and it's gonna multiply it times 1,000. All right, from what we're about to hear. All right, so salutes to y'all. Appreciate you. Let me get in here and get that popping.
As they speak. As many of you know,
I got it sped up. I got it sped up to 1.25. All right. Usually I got it at 2, but I got it at 1.25. Y'all let me know if it's too fast for y'all. I'll slow it down. Salutes.
Has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs.
He said after vetting, meaning they went through way more than 120 people and dwindled it down to 120. I would say it's, well, he could be bullshitting. They could have gone through 121 people and they vetted it down to 120. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But that's a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people, a lot of civil suits. Why now? How long have you been collecting names?
As well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
All right, you gonna name them? All right, we're here to hear them. We always hearing that they gonna name somebody or there's a list or this or that. We never hear nothing. We waiting for it. You let us know if y'all are gonna, implicate other people in this.
And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics.
You wouldn't be surprised
personally,
at the amount of people that are willing to say anything for some money. So how many of the 120 do you guys think are just out for a money grab and figure they want to stick their nose in something? I'm sure there's some real allegations in there, but how many of the 120 you think is bullshit? Huh? Because the same way people are willing to,
already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I get the evidence to the contrary to defend celebrities they love,
fans.
I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with the mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues. We check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit.
I want to know how long you guys been doing that with these 120 people. That would mean a long time you've been investigating.
We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females.
What? Stop. You got a perfect number? 60 males and 60 females? What this guy do, a casting call? What are we talking about here?
Have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
All right, now this done opened up a can of worms that any of the other things didn't open up. We're talking about children here now. Shout out Chillax on the check-in, salutes. We're talking about children here now. So this is a different can of worms opening up over here now. Part of this 60 and 60 team here, but these are some real, that's a serious ass allegation right there. And the rumor mill's gonna go crazy trying to figure out who these youngsters are, who these people were at these ages. Shout out Zoraida on the check-in, salutes to you. She made it. Appreciate you.
25 of the 120 individuals who are
9-year-old or 14-year-old
9 years old occurred. It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
25 minors.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't.
This is not the Cassie thing. This is different. This is a lot of people. They're under one roof over here. One lawyer. They'll say, oh, what happened? I don't have no video, nothing playing. Nothing? Good? We good? Raven said, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. I don't believe everybody is lying. Yes, there are a lot, but he has done enough to earn a life sentence. He was so cocky that he even had rugs and baby oil when they got him. So, another claim that we've clarified here, because it seems to be a bit confusing the way they talked about it initially. All that baby oil was found on the days that they did the raid, I believe in March. That's when they found the baby oil. Now, when they got him, he was ready to go, basically. There was no baby oil when they got him. It was probably safely tucked away in his new cell. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. But this is a different can of worms. This is 120 people underneath one law roof. This is, and now there's minors involved, man. Mind you, it took less than this, what he's talking about here, and the less amount of people than he's talking about here, to get Buddy, you know, a RICO case. So imagínate with this, and he said it. Everybody's open, and some have already started talking to the feds. That's a lot of people, bro. And they're talking about 91. Yeah, no, it's too many for everyone to be lying. Absolutely, Velez. Absolutely. You're gonna find a liar or two, but you know. But my point is, yo, this is not looking good. And they're talking about from 1991 to now. All right, where was Puff in 91? Puff was what? Was he at Howard? Doing concerts and parties and shit? Stampedes and from 91 to now. Does it include Andre? If it's 91, it probably includes Andre Harrell. See, here we go. I'm starting it myself. We start with the speculation. We start with the you know what I'm saying? Was Andre Harrell involved in all of that? What are we talking about here? Shout out George Mendoza on the check-in. What up, everyone? Shout out Jonathan Zorada. Salutes. Shout out Eddie Jimenez. Wonder if he was oiled up when they snatched him. They wouldn't have got him if he was, bro. They would have never caught him.
Be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or
so if they file reports, there's a paper trail leading back years of shit that the police didn't move on.
To hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved.
Yeah, they're not playing no games, all right? This is not a class action lawsuit, right? This is one civil suit after another, that could, I think, now all be rolled into this RICO case because that hasn't gone to trial yet. And his lawyer claims they're not pleading, so we're going to see. To me, already they talking about he rugged somebody up. Well, he or they or whatever this faction is rugged somebody up, more than one person up. They're talking about minors. Like, some of this stuff is even worse than, you know, the freak off stuff. That can be confused as consensual for a lot of people. This stuff is different. So this is a whole new can of worms here.
In the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today.
That's the day I'm waiting for. Start naming names. Let's hear who you talking about. He knows what he can and can't say because he'll get his ass sued. You know what I mean?
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
Told you.
But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators can
Facts. One is too many. Absolutely. I agree.
confirm and corroborate what we've been told, names that we're going to name, assuming damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct.
That's what they are.
As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up.
You're going to start suing hotel chains and man, I don't know. We'll see. Money, 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 money. Young Miami should be ready to go on a vacation also. And Miami ain't far enough. Young Miami going to have to go farther than Miami. Money. They're mad at him. These lawyers about to get their paper. He talking about getting everybody. Like who's implicated? Shit, drivers, managers at hotels. He's trying to get in everybody's.
These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people.
He said, confess.
Should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you could create voiceovers that sound like
A raspy old man.
A young teenage girl.
Shout out Deb Heiser. Individual cases is crazy. Now, but also consider these are civil cases. But can they roll this up in that RICO? I believe they can. Go after them fools that went and bought the baby oil. That's what they're going after. They're going after everybody. Remember, Buddy said that Little Rob, the dude that did the civil case, he said that they wore specific hats that said some shit, and they would go to the club to recruit. They're trying to get everybody. You went and you bought Gatorades. They're trying to get at whoever, administered the IVs, all of that shit. The clear-up crew, slipping and sliding all over the place.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention.
She helps victims who have been victimized. Shout out Raven. She's getting ready to put pressure on all his friends, especially Young Miami and Stevie J and Mary J. Blige and his staff. They'll flip on Diddy, so he's cooked. Everybody gonna flip. It's going down. All right? It is going down. It's not sounding good for Diddy. This lawyer's not playing. He's going for the gusto. He said it. Hotels, facilitators. What do you say? Facilitators of foul behavior. All right.
I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward, instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
It's the Planet Fitness
Boy,
Strong
pop.
Choice sale. Why pay more for the same weights at other gyms when you can save tons at Planet?
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony.
I stepped away for a second. Did I miss something about a little black book? Diddy was if there was a little black book, Diddy was definitely in the little black book. Salute. All right, salute Young Jizzle on the check-in. Appreciate you.
Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina.
Bro, you too tall, bro. We can't even hear you. Come on, man.
To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward where we've confirmed and decided to investigate.
In a 10-day period, 3,000 people came forward. Shout out Carlos. Carlos said 3K. I didn't even hear that. That's why I didn't understand what you were saying over here, Carlos. 3,000 people came forth and they vetted them down to 120. What did they do? Like, for real, they did like an open casting call. If you've been diddled by Diddy, holler at us. Well, or did Diddy get popped off, get arrested, his RICO announced, and then all of a sudden everybody started flooding the lawyer's line? Like, how did that happen? It's crazy.
And represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. 1-800-200-7474.
Oh, the hotline.
Standing by, literally. If you know.
They got the hotline, all right? You used to be able to call Santa Claus. You could call like the Transformers and talk to Optimus Prime and shit. And nowadays, you call the hotline to tell them if Diddy slipped you a Mickey in your drink. This is crazy. Oh, shit. Pete said, Jeffrey's Black Book. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. It's alleged, but I don't doubt it at all. Not even a little bit. Shout out Raven. He not playing at all. I like him. I can't stand bullies, and Diddy should be humble. He a creep, run around like he's in the mafia. I bet he ain't kicking nobody now. He ain't crazy now. You think he's smacking up the his celly? The Bitcoin guy? He's smacking him up? What do y'all think? Is he smacking up the celly right now? Huh? Maybe the celly's getting smacked up. He teaching him how to rap and shit. I run this city. I run this cell block. But yeah, I don't doubt he was in Epstein's little black book. Not even a little bit. Not, Again, a lot of these cases, he says, have come in the last 10 days. These civil cases and these allegations have come in the last 10 days. 120 people vetted. Not all of that can be people just trying to get money. Now, that hotline, I'm sure it blew up. And I'll tell you why I know it blew up. Because I was watching a little bit of academics reacting to this when it was happening live. Both Zaya and academics were live while this went down. So they jumped on it right then and there. And academics called the hotline. As soon as they announced it, he called the hotline. He got through and then he hung up. But he wanted to hear the message again. He went to call back and it was busy. So he got through the first time. After that, he couldn't get through again. So I know that hotline exploded with people just talking about what Diddy did to him. You know what I mean? He's saying in the next 30 days, we're going to hear names. I'm looking forward to names, all right? Yippee-ki-yay. Let's get some names, all right? Where was the last time we saw Jay-Z and Beyonce? France. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Salutes to y'all. All right, we saw them in France. Everybody else in Bali. Where's Mary J at? Huh? Where's Monet Tejada? Huh? Ooh-wee. Shit's getting crazy right now. They got a hotline, y'all. They got a hotline. Oh, look. Perfect Whole Gay 777 has arrived. All right. After this, I don't acknowledge you no more. You got to pay to get my acknowledgement. He had the nerve to put his feet on that beautiful young lady He's an A. We're going to see what happens. He's going after him hard. Salutes. Pause. He might be into that kind of shit, Pete. You got to be careful. For the rapper T.I., the 800 number, the tipster number, they wildin'.
That this happened to someone and you
Perfecto
have information
gay.
about it, please contact us. If this happened to you,
Call the hotline if it happened to you.
come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now.
And that's the
it was
thing,
not-
man. Like, it's horrible, man, for show business. But it's been happening forever. Again, if you listen to Shirley Temple, that little girl was a star, I don't know what, the 1930s, 1940s, something like that. She was a little girl. She got horror stories. Her mother has horror stories of what they went through in the entertainment business, right? But damn, there's no audition worth, they say, oh, these guys, they gave him the RICO Act and this, and he was holding people's jobs over their head. Fuck that job. You can go get another job. You ain't got to give nothing up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But it's a stain. It's a stain on Hollywood. These lames. And then how about the Nickelodeon lame? I don't hear him as much as the rest, as this Diddy shit. I don't hear about him. Did they have a hotline for Weinstein? I'm sure there's people out there that still been Weinstein, that still went through that. They didn't have a hotline for them. Run the hotline, yo.
Your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single
Where's
person.
Clive Davis? Is Clive Davis on that list? Because here's the thing. Once you start getting into these old powerful music execs, you're not only going to have victims of SA and all that kind of stuff, but you're going to find bodies. You're going to find bodies. Do these bodies have celebrity names attached to them? That these powerful men got rid of? We've seen people get rid of people with less money than they got. So with these guys, you're going to find bodies. Let's hope these guys are the Avengers right here. And they come out with a long list of people that it's set in stone. They did this. This is what happened. All right, cool then. Feed them to the wolves. Period.
Has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me, and we will help you.
Call the number.
Let me show you why I stopped paying for all my other sample libraries. This is Arcade by Output. This thing has...
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q. Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you
Stop
for being
saying
here.
that word, lady. You don't know this platform be striking me for that word? What's wrong with you? Don't you know that they really don't care about what you're doing? They just care about the word being used in any context. So in the context that you're using it, I can get clapped from this channel. It'd be like that.
We address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up, if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and, of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice.
That's true. To the people that are real victims, they not only get one victimage, they get a the second victimage by not being heard.
And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the U.S. alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system
Shorty,
is
we
committed
know
to
all of
fighting
this stuff.
for a future where
We have common sense. Some of us here have common sense. Shout out Raven Jefferson said he could throw his party in his cell. Decoration sponsored by Angel Soft and Johnson Baby Oil.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you, and now we know that
The truth of the matter is we are a culture of followers, all right? That is no different than Jim Jones making them people drink the Kool-Aid. They lined up and they drank the Kool-Aid, all right? You need to teach your kids right now. All right? See, this is the problem with how we move as a people and how the government got us right now, because they tell us to do something and we fucking do it, and we don't think about it and we do it. Not all of us, but we do it. Sometimes our circumstances call for us to do it. But teach your kids that ain't a party you want to be at if somebody's forcing you already on the way in to do some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's different than it being, oh, we're throwing an 80s party. You got to have an 80s costume. All right, cool. You show up in your 80s costume. But when somebody's trying to make you drink something on the way in or make you do something, come on, man. It reminds me of Ice-T when Ice-T said, oh, I'm a bitch because I don't smoke no weed. Well, force me to smoke some weed. Show me I'm a bitch. Teach your kids that ain't the party they want to be at. That's a lame's party. That's a sheep party. A party of people that are willing to drink whatever you hand to them on the way in. Just cause. Now you have to drink this, and we have to visibly see you do it before you enter this party. What? Fuck out of here.
In most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
So here's the problem with everybody running to the rumor mill and saying, well, that 9-year-old was Usher. That's the easy thought, right? But for all we know, he said there was other kids auditioned. For all we know, that's a kid that never made it, never got his shot. We don't even know his name. Right? Or do you think Usher came forward to these people with the allegation and says, I was 9 at the time? I don't know. And I'm only saying that because I've already seen the Usher, people running with the Usher thumbnail. Oh, the 9-year-old is Usher. It's like, it don't have to be a celebrity. It could be somebody that we don't know.
Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly
Wait,
Mr.
hold
Combs...
on, I missed that. What happened here? Shout out Yael on the check-in. Disgusting, indeed, and then some.
Another instance, another minor, told...
So this is not the 9-year-old no more. So the 9-year-old was there because when he's saying, oh, that there was an audition and there was other kids there, and I'm thinking, okay, who has Puff had as kids groups over the years that he'd be having an audition for Bad Boy Records? And it's like, Usher, I don't even think Usher was signed to Bad Boy. Usher was an Uptown artist. And so was Mary. She went on Bad Boy, and so was Jodeci. I'm thinking the audition was probably for kids for Uptown, and because who did Bad Boy have on some kid shit?
That's kind of the MO.
But he was on
Another
Uptown.
instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor.
Parents drag the parents in there too. Send their ass to jail.
Told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into...
These are the things he's letting out. These are allegations. He's letting these out. He's already done his homework on these, that he's talking about them out loud.
Another incident, an individual was drugged and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her.
Jesus Christ.
Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes.
Shout out to Zoraida. B2K is the youngest boy band I could think of. Yeah, and they have their horrible history that absolutely can be tied in with all of this. That is very true. But they too were not Bad Boy artists. And the reason I'm being a stickler with the Bad Boy artists is because he said specifically this 9-year-old went to an audition with Bad Boy Records. And I'm hoping he's on his P's and Q's and saying the right shit and not the wrong shit, because that sets a precedence, you know?
Another instance, the individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And I could go on. I mean, literally,
don't go on.
you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance,
Some
an
sort
individual
of drug.
who
No
was
te
20 years old at the
pendejo.
time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I want to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to.
What'd he say?
Sean Combs, something great. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you're someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it. Perfect.
How many minors are making accusations in total?
How many minors in the affidavit?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Antonio,
But I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to...
He's like, come on, let's talk. I got mad people willing to talk. And that's the double vetting right there. Feds come in and vet that information too. Problem with that is, well, he already knows all the names. Problem with that is, what names are the feds going to hide? You know what I'm saying? Are they open to letting them all out on the table? I'm interested in what names he got there. 91 sounds like it starts at Uptown Records, Howard University, and goes from there. And understand, every one person that they're going to pop and connect to this is going to open up a branch that opens up to a whole bunch of other people. And the timeline go back, fuck around and find out that, you know, Def Jam in Manhattan at the time, and find out, you know, there's more to Kool Herc than just, you know, what's been alleged. I mean, not Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa. Things go back and back. Like, this is a can of worms this guy can open up right here, and he's telling the feds, come on, let's get it. Let's have this conversation. So let's have it. But we ain't get the Epstein's list, so I don't have no faith in none of these motherfuckers.
We're going to make that available 120.
Antonio,
But I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these
Come on.
victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI, because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees?
Hold on. How could the FBI not be aware of some of these people, but they're aware of everything? They get this 99.99 conviction rating, but you're not aware of these people. You didn't go that deep. But this guy right here that's offering it to you, he got 120 people in 10 days, 3,000 in 10 days, but 120 legit supposed, and maybe who knows how many from there, And then people will say, oh, but they're women, they're liars. Well, this ain't about women. This is men, women, children, people that were 9 years old at the time that the shit happened. So that's a cop-out. That's PDF file talk.
Anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of.
So the kids were auditioning for TV or music career shit.
We're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention.
Damn, he threw them 2 questions. I'm gone. I got 102 people to talk to right now.
Any file here? There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate filing them here. Probably in New York City.
Bruh came out, guns are blazing. Bang, 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 bang. We got other names. We're going to put out other names. We got information. We got a timeline going back to 1991. Shit's crazy. Shit just got worse for Diddy. And here's the question. Do you guys think that the feds are going to take him up on his offer and call him? Or you think they're going to be like, nah, we got this. And just go with what they got? They'd be stupid not to holler at dude. This is a whole different can of worms here. This is a whole different, situation. All right? Bananas. Let's see what's going on here.
Okay.
No, we can't do that one yet. Let's see if there's any more news on this. 102 difference, and not a class action. 120, not 102, 120. All right, let's check this out. Let's just read it. We heard it. Now let's just read this real quick. Sean Diddy Combs is facing dozens of new allegations, actual assault, and a series of lawsuits set to be filed at a news conference held Tuesday. Texas-based attorney Tony. Oh no, was it yesterday? So it must have been yesterday that I peeped them watching it live. It had to be. At a news conference held Tuesday, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby said he's representing 120 accusers with allegations against the entertainment mogul that go back more than 20 years. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates, Busby said during the news conference. Many powerful people, many dirty secrets, the lawyer said of the allegations. He added that his team has collected pictures, videos, and texts. This dude seems to have a treasure trove of shit to get popping. Busby added that the allegations will include violent sexual assault or rape, facilitated acts with a controlled substance, dissemination of video recordings, sexual abuse of minors. It's a long list already, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make sure, damn sure, we're right before we do that, Busby continued. These names will shock you. I'm ready to be shocked, bruh. Tell us the names. We need to know which ones of these dirty motherfuckers was everybody that was telling the truth talking about. Which one of these dirty motherfuckers were the ones that Pimp C was talking about? Which one of these dirty motherfuckers was the ones that DMX was talking about? You know what I'm saying? Huh? Which ones were the ones? The lawyer said more than 3,000 individuals have come forward to his office with accusations against Combs, and that he plans to begin filing lawsuits in various states within the next 30 days. He added that they will name the other defendants at a later date. Among this new group of accusers, Busby says 62% identify as African American, and they hail from more than 25 states, with the majority from New York, California, Georgia, and Florida. Busby said that 25 of the accusers were minors at the time of the alleged incidents, some as early as 1991. The lawyer further claimed one of the accusers was as young as 9 years old at the time of their alleged incident. As Mr. Combs' legal team has emphasized, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he actually abused anyone, including minors. The rapper's lawyer, Erica Wolf, said in a statement. He looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court if and when claims are filed and served, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. Combs is currently being detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, after prosecutors in the Southern District of New York charged Combs with trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prosti in an indictment unsealed last month. Combs pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers have said he is innocent of all charges. Combs was denied bail twice, but on Monday, his legal team, which now includes attorney Alexandra Shapiro, alongside Tenny Garagos and Mark Agnifilo, filed first paperwork ahead of an appeal of the bail decision. So they're shooting for the bail again. They're trying to get the bail again. We'll see how that goes. Busby's represented victims in several other high-profile lawsuits, including against BP in 2010 after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. He also represented individuals accusing NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct in 2021. That same year, he filed a $750 million lawsuit against Travis Scott after a fatal crowd crush at the rapper's Astroworld Festival. Combs' legal issues have been mounting since his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filed an explosive civil suit against him last year, accusing him of assault and trafficking over the course of their relationship. Combs, who has vehemently denied the accusations, settled with Ventura for an undisclosed amount. Several months later, surveillance video showed Combs brutally beating Ventura in a hallway in Los Angeles. The video leaked, and the mogul apologized for his actions. Since Ventura's lawsuit, multiple other lawsuits have been filed against Combs, including one from Dawn Richards, a former member of the group Danity Kane, who alleged that Combs groped, assaulted, and imprisoned her and threatened her life. Combs has denied all claims against him, calling them sickening allegations from people looking for a quick payday. Many of the lawsuits against Combs were filed in New York City, which has the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law, allowing people to file lawsuits alleging sexual abuse even after the statute of limitations had passed. That's good. Statute of limitations is just a trap on these X crimes. Correction. An earlier version of this article misspelled the name of one of Diddy's accusers. It's Cassandra Ventura, not Cassandra Ventura. One S, not two. All right, check yourself. Get that shit right next time. Salute JFL on the check-in. Thumbs up in the chat for y'all. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Eat a dick if you're a troll. And salutes. We chilling. It looks like Diddy's situation, woo, the hole is getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Pause. It's not looking good. What y'all think, though? Y'all think he's smacking up his celly right now? He needs somebody to take his withdrawal out on. Huh? What do you think? Should we do a poll? Are we doing a poll? Should we give away some memberships right now? We should give away some memberships right now. Hundreds up in the chat if we should give away some memberships. Hopefully people that are usually here and really deserve it should get them, but YouTube decides. Not me. All right, let me see if there's any other Diddy news. I doubt anything's going to beat the new 120 accusers. Yep. Diddy whitelist to be out. Attorney threatens to reveal names that will shock you. MF probably gonna like in there. You gotta redo that, Albert. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's give away 5 memberships right now. Hopefully somebody we like gets it. Let's see. Hold on, where's that? No, it's here. Nah, man. Let me wait till I get 25 likes. I'm gonna wait till I get 25 likes at least to give away the membership. You already gave the green light. We'll wait till I got 25 likes and then we'll give away 5 memberships. MF's gonna be probably gonna like it in there. You gotta get over that withdrawal first. He probably still shaking today. And then they were talking about, you know, he didn't want to eat the food and this, that, the other. Of course not. Supposedly somebody said, I mean, everybody's saying something. They said he spoke to only a few people over the phone. His mother, I believe, might have been one of his kids, and the other one was his nutritionist. I mean, it's jail food, bro. Salute Timothy Padilla on the check-in. It's jail food. He's a rich dude. He's been rich a long time. He don't like that slop. Epstein accuser claims Diddy thought he was invincible before ex-trafficking probe. All right, let's check this out real quick. It says, Epstein accuser claims Diddy thought he was invincible before ex-trafficking probe. Hip-hop's bad boy billionaire Sean Diddy Combs has drawn comparisons to late ex-trafficking financier Jeffrey Epstein, but one person believes there's a big difference between the two powerful players. Jeffrey wasn't an open secret. Lisa Phillips, a model who said Epstein actually assaulted her on a private island, told Fox News Digital. Jeffrey was all under the table, she said. Only certain people knew about the ex-trafficking. He was very smart. He was much smarter than Sean Combs, much more highly intelligent. He wasn't highly intelligent to keep his ass alive, or he was. Phillips, now a model scout at Select Models Los Angeles, has a new podcast from now on. In it, she claims to bring awareness to human trafficking. She will also be speaking to other survivors in upcoming episodes. Phillips claimed to Fox News Digital that for years there were whispers of Combs' alleged behavior, ones that she said were well known within the music industry. When I was a model in the early 2000s, I knew all about abused women with Sean Combs, Phillips claimed. We heard about it, people talked about it. I think he just thought he was God and above all, nothing was going to happen to him. It's easy to feel that way when you get that money, when you get that power, when you know who to use it on, and you're a manipulator. Of course, that's what cowards do. That's what lames do. Come on, man. You give a couple a dude that was just in here, you give him the opportunity. He'll do the same thing. Dirty dog shit. He in there working a deal. Johnson Johnson, the commissary. he got the store. When you have Phillips noted that Combs and Phillips noted that Combs and Epstein ran in very different circles. However, the modus operandi is still the same, she claimed. When you have that type of wealth, power, charm, and influence to make things happen for people, a lot of men don't abuse it, but predators do. It's vile. This dude right here, I love to right through the forehead, right in the crease in your forehead. According to Phillips, the ongoing case serves as a warning that trafficking is an ongoing problem that goes beyond showbiz. They take these young girls and pretend like I'm doing good for you, but no, they're sending them to their friends, associates, and other powerful people, she explained. The victim thinks, oh wow, I get to meet so-and-so, but no, they're sending you to be abused for the actual gratification of another person. They're being trafficked. They're putting you on a plane or sending you in an Uber, whatever it is, but they're sending you to somebody else. And then they're going to repeat the indictment all over again. I'm only interested in what she's talking about. Phillips claims she saw video cameras in Epstein's house at the time. Phillips said that, like many of Epstein's alleged victims, she feared speaking out. It was not until Epstein's death that Phillips slowly gained the courage to speak out, she said. Phillips said it also would not be until Epstein's death that she learned there were many other like her. The mentality is, if I'm going down, you're all going down with me, said Phillips on why she believed Epstein had cameras all around. I think Jeffrey did it because he had a deeper, huge connection with politicians and very powerful people who are abusing young women. I think Jeffrey did it more so to protect himself. When Jeffrey knew he was going to go down, he knew that was going to protect him. It either rescued him and he's a free man walking somewhere, or it got him smoked because he knew too much. Hit the like button. 2 more likes and I'll give away 5 memberships. When Jeffrey knew he was going down, he knew that was going to protect him. Phillips reflected. He wanted to get away with it. In Sean Combs' case, people are being held accountable, or at least we're shedding some light on whom those people are. The rest is about Epstein. They're going to repeat the Diddy shit again. Today, Phillips hopes her podcast and story will shed light on trafficking can happen to anyone. It isn't just a white van pulling up, grabbing a 13-year-old, throwing her in the car and sending her off to Dubai, which is a reality, which people probably think don't happen, but it happens. Maybe not in that capacity where they go to that specific place and they're at in that specific white van type model, but the point is the point. That shit happens. It's real. They get snatched up. They disappear. There's no lack of missing people in this country. She said, no, there are powerful people who are taking advantage of your aspirations and ambitions. There are those sending numerous young people to the same person. They're trafficking you. And I'm so glad it's coming to light now. We need to understand what's really going on. There's a lot of education that needs to happen. Salutes. Salutes to her. Diddy, you're cooked. You are cooked. 120 brand new. You already had all kind of shit. You know? And those are the ones that we know of. We don't know what he settled behind the scenes. I've been watching that on Netflix, that Vince McMahon WWE documentary, 6-part series. That man settled a whole bunch of shit for $7 million here, $5 million there, $4 million there, $10 million there. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, you horny is worth that much? Nah, it's a power trip. You throwing away millions of dollars because you settling? Nah, and he had a whole lot more than what we knew of. So who knows how many Diddy and Jay-Z and all these guys got settlements or gag orders and NDAs and all of that shit, man. Who knows? Who knows? And at what point does the paperwork become criminal? When you're signing NDAs, non-disclosure agreements under duress and shit. Fact, Ivan Leva said, this makes me wonder how many islands out there doing the worst shit. What? How many, we got one Epstein Island we found. How many are out there, bro? How many Epstein Islands are out there that we don't know about? Bananas. Ludicrous. I mean, who knows? Crazy talk. But Diddy sounds cooked, man. That's 120 new people. Whoo. Anda jodido el tipo. Jodido. All right, salutes to y'all. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. We got one more like before I give out 5 memberships and 5 memberships for 30 days. And I'll take this opportunity to drop the links in the chat before we move on to this Ioan Grillo conversation. He's been on the floor in Sinaloa. He could tell us what he's seen with his own eyes. Where's Discord right here? All right, there's Discord link. Shop link. The best thing you can do for this channel is hit the like button. Go catch a playlist that you haven't seen. Go listen to our exclusive interviews with the Flores twins. Go check out our reactions to the Surviving El Chapo podcast and Cartel Wives. We also have exclusive interviews with the Flores twins that if you haven't checked them out, you can go check those out and drop those in here too. Bow. Shout out Pure Art on the check-in. Salutes. All right, boom. I'm dropping playlists in the chat for y'all. I'm dropping Discord links. Boom. Let's get this right here. Bow. All right, I see 27 now too. Salutes. Let's paste this right here. Bow. Boom. Let's get it. All right, shout out Pure Art on the check-in. Salutes HG on the check-in. Appreciate you for coming through. All right, let's give away 5. And let's hope it goes to some people that we see here on a regular basis. Let's get it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Ivan Castro, Rodriguez, Jorge Alvarez, Chung's Kicks, and Rocksteady. Rocksteady, who is formerly known as...
Jonathan Panto just sent $5 salutes Kiel. Thank you for working hard on your grind to provide the great quality content that you do so that we may grow. Shout out to the Cartel members in chat, like, and subscribe. It's free. The Punk Week Trolls.
The Punk Week Trolls. Oh, okay, I got you. Shout out Jonathan Pantoja for the $5 power chat. Salute Shah Il. Thank you for working hard on your grind to provide the great quality content that you do so that we may grow. Shout out to the Il Cartel members in chat. Like and subscribe. It's free. Motherfuck the punk bitch ass weak trolls. All right? Fuck y'all. All right? Salutes to you. All right, what Jonathan just did right there is a power chat. You can send a power chat by using the link that you see at the top of the screen. Power chat live powerchat.live/ILLCHI. You can do it anonymously. $2 minimum donation. And you can tell me to fuck off right there, boom, live on my, in the middle of my channel, anonymously. Salutes. In the middle of my, my show. Salutes. Shout out Deb Heiser. Yeah, I wish I could give them to people. Deb, they YouTube picks who they go to, so that blows. Carlos Resendez says, está jodido el abusador del Diddy. Diddy está cagado. He's done. All right, congrats to everybody for the 30-day membership. We got 5 more to give away before we get out of here today. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. All right, salutes to Jonathan for his power chat. I appreciate you, sir. All right, power chat link available in the description, or you can use the what's it called? The QR code that's right there, or the link up top. We got super thanks, super chat, all that good stuff is available too. We appreciate everybody that supports the channel on that level. Best thing you can do for me for free is hit that like button. Salutes. Right, Jonathan said anonymously or stand on your name. You know what I'm saying? But these dudes are not name standards. They But yeah, they can stand on their name. Congratulations to the new members. Salute Deb Heiser. All right, salute Chun's Kicks, the Wook. The Wookie got one in. All right, let's get it. What I got next? All right. How long we been here? Yeah, let's do that. I was gonna jump into the Kim Porter stuff right after the Diddy stuff, but that Kim Porter thing is mad long. I might have to do that on my own and put it out as a video. I think they named Meek for sure, didn't they? See how that think? If I'm Meek Mill, I'm mad at you, Albert Flores. All that think. They named Meek Mill for sure, didn't they? That's those two things for sure. And think, those two things are two different things, bro. They contradict each other. All right? I didn't hear that lawyer say nothing about Meek Mill's name. Nothing. Well, you tell me what you know, though. You know what I mean? But I ain't going. All right, shout out Ioan Grillo. Shout out Vincent Rocco Vargas, the host of Borderland. It's a show on Ironclad. Let's see, he got a book. He's an author. He's an actor. I know him from Mayans. And he had Ioan Grillo on the show. I fast forwarded us to the point where they start talking about what's happening right now in Sinaloa. First, Ioan Grillo breaks down the snatching of El Mayo and breaks down everything that we went through here on our own, man. All right, everything we went. It makes me feel like I'm not doing a bad job of keeping up and keeping shit, as pulling as much information from as many places as we can and trying to sift through the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we're doing a bad job of it because I'm seeing people break it down the same way we've been seeing it here, the same way we've been arguing about with people in the comments. So, we'll check it out. Them terms could be life-changing. Yeah, I'm straight on that. He said, I think they named Meek for sure, didn't they? So anyway, so this is him talking about or starting his timeline, and then recently he was on the ground in Sinaloa, so he's going to tell that story too. We're going to check it out. Again, shout out Vincent Rocco Vargas. I will link y'all to his channel right here so where y'all can catch his stuff. Very good quality interviews, no hoopla, good shit. Copy link address, let me drop it in there. Paste, boom. All right, let's get it.
Is the arrest of El Mayo. And I know that you spent some time on that, and I would love to kind of dig into more of, one, kind of what's the significance of that you believe, and it's two, what are some of the repercussions that are probably happening currently right now, and also what does that mean for the CJNG? Does it give them an opportunity to kind of take a bigger role in kind of the border violence and border control?
Yes, so this arrest of El Mayo, this is kind of one of the big marking events of the whole cartel war in Mexico, I would say, the whole narco war. And so just to recap what happened, I'm sure a lot of the viewers are familiar with this, but to recap some of the things. So on July 25th, Sunday, there was news that a plane had flown into an airport near El Paso, actually just over the state border to New Mexico, with El Mayo on board.
And that's what I like about this guy. He will get into those details. We've had them conversations here too. People are like, nah, it was at El Paso and it was this. And we're like, no, well, technically. And sometimes you got to get into the technicalities because people start getting loose with the truth and then anything gets said. I for some reason, I trust this guy's, this guy's journalism and his technique. Like, he was the guy that I believed the most and had the most common sense approach when it all first happened last month. So salutes to him.
With one of the sons of El Chapo, Joaquin Guzman Jr. And they were met by federal agents and arrested. So it suddenly blew up. Huge story. Now, Mayo Zambada, Ismael El Mayo Zambada is a real OG, or we could say ON, original narco. This guy, there's two dates of birth given to him. One will make him 76, the other 74. But either way, he's a very old guy. He's been in this game for like half a century. This guy was trafficking in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. And although El Chapo was the most infamous gangster, El Mayo, by many people saying, was like the bigger player, the most influential player in Sinaloa for much of the time, the real power behind the throne. And so it immediately came out, how did this happen? So this first story came out, was like leaked by federal agents to some American media, was saying, oh, Joaquin Guzman Jr., the son of El Chapo, tricked him to say, I'll come and check out some clandestine runways and then flew him into the States. Now, for anybody who kind of knows this, that smells fishy, because it's like, how can a guy of that stature, first, he doesn't need to check out clandestine runways. This guy's on a different level in terms of drug trafficking. He kind of, now at this point, is kind of oversees big negotiations between groups. He doesn't need to.
All of those people that believe that theory backed up into the bushes. They all backed up into the bushes, Homer Simpson style. They was in the comments talking crazy, telling their theories, and they're all quiet now. Like, and it's like, come on, man, use your sense. And you know what it is? It's a lack of confidence for me, knowing that I don't know this stuff as much as some people. So sometimes I think that the dummy in the comments probably knows a little bit more than me, and I'm usually wrong. You know what I'm saying? They don't know no more than me, man. They know less than I've learned on this channel in this last 2 years.
Check out if a clandestine runway is good or not. He doesn't need to do that kind of operations. Get an aeroplane and do that. And secondly, this guy has bodyguards. He's a vet, and he's suspicious of the Guzman family. There's tension between them. Then it came out, well, no, he must have just self-surrendered. It must have been El Mayo who ran this whole thing himself.
The people that said he been planning this for years. He missed his children. He wanted to see his sons before he got too old to be able to touch their hands. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Those people, they back their ass up into a bush too. They too are on some Homer Simpson shit. He's a moral man. He's a good man. He wanted to see his sons. He missed them so much. And y'all disappeared. Y'all were telling me I was a dumb shit. Nothing. I would say we literally went through those steps here. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Like, what are we talking about?
If he just handed himself in. And then, in fact, I got
he handed himself in.
Then
he missed the children.
And he's suspicious of the Guzman family. There's tension between them. Then it came out, well, no, he must have just self-surrendered. It must have been El Mayo who ran this whole thing himself. He just handed himself in. And then, in fact, I got this first shout of a story, a testimony through a colleague I work with, Juan Alberto Cedillo, great journalist. And so he came to me and said, we got this testimony of an ex-head of security of Mayo Zambada who says he was very aggressively, violently kidnapped at a set-up meeting. His bodyguards were taken, and he was put on the plane and forced to get to work. I was like, okay, that's a pretty crazy story. And then his lawyer came out saying, without giving details, just saying this guy was kidnapped. So, okay, this sounds reasonable. We're going to put this out there. We're going to put it out there with a caution. This is coming from a guy in prison who's a cartel guy in prison. We've got to obviously take their words with caution, but this is a credible, the way you give all the details of the place that it happened. We put it out and it blew up as a story because, you know, writing in Mexico, this hadn't come out. There's a lot of people, if phone was, running red hot, just people wanted more information about the story and Mexican media outlets. And then gradually over the time since then, this version, or more or less this version, has been confirmed. It's been confirmed now by the U.S. ambassador to Mexico. The U.S. agents actually went back and said, oh, actually, there was more violence there. The Mexican Federal Attorney General's office came out with this. And El Mayo himself, through his lawyer, gave a more detailed account where he supported this version of events. So now it's basically...
And they told me, oh, that letter's bullshit. That letter is a lie. They're all backed up in the bushes. Homer, all of them. I got to get the dope. I got to get that sound effect in here.
Likely that's what happened. Still, some people say, oh, this is all a big smoke screen.
It's all smoke screens. He's too smart. He's untouchable. You can't catch him. He's too fast. You see him 1 second, the next minute you don't. What the fuck?
And really, El Mayo Zambada goes too deep. But right now, that's the kind of working sequence of events we think that happened here. So it was
so let me stop you just 1 second just to clarify. So you're telling me that right now the leading story that is most likely believed is that one of his head security was kidnapped and kind of beat up just to make sure to give him the information to help in the assistance of the arrest.
No, sorry. The head of security guy, the guy who told us first, was in prison but had the information. The actual way it went down was there was a meeting in this quite luxury house in Culiacan, the state capital of Sinaloa.
Yep.
There was a meeting which was meant to be a politician called Hector Melesio Cuen, who's a local Sinaloan politician, but also accused of being an operator dealing with and a middleman among the drug cartels.
Yeah.
Promised to be there was meant to be Ruben Rocha, the governor of Sinaloa.
Rocha. I got that sound effect, y'all. I just got to put it in there. I got it. Pure Art, you're lucky we know that you're, a little flamboyant. I don't know if flamboyant's the right word, but, you'd be a little wild in the chat. So we're going to we're gonna take your hacker threats, with a grain of salt. And you producing my show and tell me to fast forward your uncle Ioan Grillo over here. We're not gonna take it to heart and put your ass in the bathroom. You lucky we like you, all right? Rocha. Salutes.
who's kind of running for cover a bit right now, and some of the Guzman family, including Joaquin Guzman. El Mayo gets there. He has the first group of 4 bodyguards with him, including one active state police officer, one part of his security detail. And then a second couple of security guards, like a security guard and an assistant, who haven't quite gone into the house yet. They're outside and they're buying some stuff that he likes from the shop outside. And they're the ones who will relay the story, first of all, as well as Mayo himself. Mayo gets there to this meeting. They come in and a bunch of guys, in military gear with guns, and they take his 4 security guards. They pin him down and subdue his security guards. They're totally outnumbered. And Mayo himself, they bash him up. They put handcuffs on him. They drive him about 30 minutes to a runway, stick him on a plane, and fly him to the United States.
Bro, I could be doing these interviews, bro. I could be doing these interviews and telling this story. That's all y'all want to know? Y'all want to know what happened? We didn't figure that shit out the day it happened. You know what I'm saying? We didn't figure nothing out. We just took information that was available to us and reviewed it and went over it. But shit, I could do these interviews.
Audacious move. In about 30 minutes to a runway, stick him on a plane, and fly him to the United States. Now, it's such an audacious move. And also, the big question is how much the US are involved in this. It's
the biggest question we've always had, the one with no answers. How much was the US involved in it? Were they on their side? Did they? I said maybe they could have just got the phone call from Joaquin. Hey, I'm on my way, right? Could have been just easy as that. They've been talking that, or they could have had soldiers on the ground that helped them. You know what I'm saying? Pull this off. Who knows? We don't know that for sure. Manuel al Baño, shout out Jorge Mendoza, salutes. Albert Flores said we're gonna overlook that real quick. He said he likes to be fast. That's your problem, Pure Art. You like to be fast. We don't give a fuck. Slowly. I mean, salutes.
Interesting. So it's kind of a rendition because there's no extradition process here. He's captured by cartel members, blown to the US, and handed into US agents.
I'm surprised. Now I'm not surprised. I'm sure somebody has to be somewhere writing this story right now. Whether they're calling it fiction or whatever, writing this story in screenplay form, because what he's just said is, man, that's some movie shit going on right there, man. That they basically pulled an extradition, an illegal extradition, if that's what they did do. They give you a 10-5. Raven Jefferson said he's going through hell. Opiates are your life. Oh, you talking about Diddy? You're probably a little bit behind. Opiates are like juice. If you use them and you don't have them, you have no energy, temperature, stomach control. He has never been in jail over 2 days. He's sick. Oh, he's disgusted right now, for sure.
So involved in this. It's interesting. So it's kind of a rendition because there's no extradition process here. He's captured by cartel members, blown to the US, and handed into US agents. Interesting detail that he arrives about 4 p.m. in the airport near El Paso. If you know a story going back to 1990, there was a doctor in Mexico who was alleged to be involved in the kidnapping and torture of DEA agent Kike Camarena.
Yes, sir.
For those that don't know,
that doctor,
Kike Camarena was a DEA agent that was captured in Mexico and physically manipulated and terminated. They had a doctor there that was there to give him adrenaline, shots of adrenaline to the heart to keep him going so that they can physically manipulate him over and over till he gave them what they wanted. and so the doctor would juice him up and keep him alive, basically. What he's talking about is that the United States, the DEA was not happy with what happened to Kiki Camarena, and the United States went after this doctor, and they snatched him out of Mexico without due process.
Who was injecting him with Starve truth serum and stuff. He was taking it in a rendition. It's recognized by the courts. There was a bunch of hired guys went there, kidnapped him, and flew him to the US. Interestingly, he arrived at an airport near El Paso at 4 p.m.
It's and correct me if I'm wrong, at the Santa Teresa airport, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So
I know it well.
Yeah. Okay. So is that a certain modus operandi of the US are going to say, okay?
Oh, so they put that together, that it was the same time that the doctors, maybe they looked at precedents and said, you know what? Let's do this the way they did the doctor. Joaquin said he could get us the old man. Let's do this.
You want to fly to an airport, that's a good one to fly into for strategic purposes. In terms of timing, it's a good time to come into because, if we're doing these kind of things, that's wherever we can coordinate better than in terms of how the Florida Raiders, whatever. But what is the U.S. role? And this question is going to come up in the court case, but they're going to, in the case of the rendition of that doctor, first of all, a lower court said it was an illegal rendition and we can't put him on trial. Then the Supreme Court said, however he was brought into the country, if he committed the crime, he has to answer for it. And there was a big international discussion over this because it was like, okay, how come, you can just basically kidnap citizens and fly them to the US.
Right.
But whatever, you're fighting. You can see people who can also say, well, we got to fight these people with the gloves off. What is questionable is, so there's actually among the U.S. agencies, there's territorial battles, and this seems to be more an operation by FBI and Homeland Security investigations, and the DEA a little bit, not really quite as involved in this. Are you working and making a deal and getting these gangsters, getting this cartel, the Chapitos, to do your arrest for you?
Well, that's exactly what they did. Whether, it's tongue in cheek or it was on paper or whatever the fuck, that's what they did. They were the bulls for the cops. They went and they got them. Now, did the cops know it? They deny it. We didn't know it. America, we didn't know. He was bringing that old man. He just showed up with him. Who flew that plane? We still don't know.
This gets crazy. So I'm gonna interject one more time, or a couple times, I'm sure. But so right now, there's a thought that El Chapo and the Chapitos might have been a part of assisting in the arrest.
Yeah. Well, they carried out.
They carried it out. There's no question that whether you want to call it an arrest or not, they executed the extraction of El Mayo Zambada from Mexico to the United States. They facilitated it. They did it. They executed it.
The kidnapping, and they handed him into U.S. authorities. So they effectively made the arrest on behalf of the Americans.
And so they, in some way, shape.
Rocco, I could have told you this. We could have talked about acting, all that good shit, man. Salute.
Perform, are working with the U.S. government. I would say it again, in some way, shape, or form, they're working with the U.S. government.
Yeah, they're the police.
And helping and assisting, arresting El Mayo.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Jeez almighty. Okay, I'm going to ask this.
So what the U.S. defense would be is, and they'll say, oh, we didn't know they were going to do this.
Right.
They just gave us a call and said, we want to land a plane. And they handed us El Mayo.
Told you. Been telling you that. We didn't know.
But that's hard, as you know yourself.
You have. I know this world really well, so I'm just trying to be mindful about how I ask these questions now. But
yeah, he was a soldier.
For you, for your intel, for the information, do you know which three-letter agencies were in assistance of this?
Yes,
the ones you mentioned.
Yes, sure. So this is the people. The top of this was FBI. This is like the people negotiating. So there was you have Joaquin Guzman Jr., who's the guy who was on the plane with him and handed himself in and is cooperating, and his cooperation seemed to be set up between FBI agents and him, who are the ones discussing this. And HSI are also having involvement, and DEA have something, but they're more on the backseat of
it.
Order now. The two women who were killed and found dismembered in Juarez on Sunday were from El Paso.
On the southern border, there is a legal concept known as reasonable fear, a lifeline for those fleeing violence.
A Texas couple was found tortured and murdered.
Police say so far this month, 11 women have been killed in Juarez.
And then their bodies or body parts offered up to Santa Muerte as an offering. She represents death.
In this special Borderland docuseries, I take a deep dive onto true crime stories. Join me as we uncover the truth about the fear behind the crisis.
This was a group of powerful people.
Never been seen before in Mexico.
Evidence of ritualistic elements.
We ended up rescuing almost 200 kids.
The discovery of multiple women in mass graves.
They're almost in every state.
When you put it together, you have an economic extortion map.
But even more violent.
Let's get it. Rocco, I'm with it. I want to see it. We will react to it right here. Promo that shit.
Now that this information is out there, is this creating kind of that civil war between Mayos and the Chapitos currently?
Yeah, so then what happens is, so one question people ask is, if this happened, how come there's not this mad war in Sinaloa?
Bro, step by step, we heard all the same bullshit, and we was like, you gonna see it. And guess what? All of those people that said, there'd be bloodshed in Sinaloa if they kidnapped him. And we told you, be patient, be patient. Your day came. And now it's like day 20-something. And it's still going on. And there's still people oppressed and stuck in their home and can't run their business and can't feed their families. And there have been people kidnapped and snatched. And innocent people have had their tops knocked off. And innocent people have had their things taken, their business burnt to the ground, their families snatched from them. Kids have had guns jammed in their chests and thrown in the midst of a war and had pizzas, stabbed into them. Like, it's you got what you wanted, man. You got what you wanted.
Right.
These guys, the Chapitos, just kidnapped El Mayo. This guy happened. How come? So then what happens is, so one question people ask is, if this happened, how come there's not this mad war in Sinaloa?
Right.
These guys, the Chapitos.
Shout out Jonathan. He said they let Quinn get unalived and gave no F's about him after they cremated him and put out that BS video. And nobody has to come clean and tell us why they put out a video that don't even make sense. And we know now is that, is not the real story. Like, the government of Mexico's already said it's a real story. So who's going to tell us in the Sinaloan government who put out that bullshit video? What was that about? That horribly produced shit. You know what I'm saying? Or something happened there, but it ain't what happened to Quinn. That dude he's gone. They ghosted him. Yeah, Rocha. We still don't know where's the Rocha. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. Salutes to y'all. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Hundreds up in the chat for you. Shout out Ian Grillo. We ain't learned nothing new yet because we went through these steps thoroughly with people against us. So it is what it is. Salutes. All right, and salutes Jay Flores for the assist because he assisted us at that time.
Just kidnapped El Mayo. What happened was El Mayo, so his son, called El Mayito Flaco, is the name of his son who's now running the operation, had to plan for this revenge. These guys are smart enough not just to think, okay, I'm going to send out a bunch of gunmen and you're waiting for me and we're going to kill you. They got to think, okay, how do we plan this? How do we work out alliances? So just after 6 weeks later, on Monday, September the 9th, this Sinaloan civil war a civil war in the cartel erupted. I had a very good source, another story I had out on this from a very good source about a meeting that happened 1 week before it kicked off, cementing the alliances. There was negotiations which started happening right away, but they got to September the 2nd, and there was a meeting in a part of Sinaloa, a municipality called Badiraguato, which is the mountainous municipality where Chapo Guzman is from, where Rafael Caro Quintero is from, Beltran, many of the big traffickers are from there. And there was a meeting there between Maito Flaco, the son of El Mayo, a big, powerful guy in the Caro Quintero organization. If anyone familiar with this guy, Rafael Caro Quintero, he's a very, very famous narco, currently incarcerated, but their family are still big players. A guy called Jose Gil Caro. And another guy who's a very powerful player in Sinaloa, in the North Sinaloa, called known as Chapo Isidro. The same nickname Chapo, but small, short, stocky guy. But he's Chapo Isidro. He's a very powerful player in the north of Sinaloa, Guamuchil and then Mochis and that northern part of Sinaloa. So they had a meeting. They finalized. Okay, it was said in this meeting. Okay, Chapo Isidro was like,
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
okay, I'll give to Muchil and then Mochis and that northern part of Sinaloa. So they had a meeting. They finalized. Okay, it was said in this meeting. Okay, Chapo Isidro was like, okay, I'll give 200 guys. Caro Quintero was like, I'll give 150 guys. We'll give guns. We'll give money to support the war and this effort here. The war kicks off on Monday, September 9th, and you get these big convoys of Maito's gunmen going into Culiacan. Now, the way the geography of this territory works a bit, to understand a bit more about the Sinaloa cartel. So you have the state of Sinaloa, and the surrounding states, Sonora, Chihuahua, Durango, and this is traditionally a very big drug trafficking area. It was very big historically for opium to make heroin, for marijuana. Now there's loads of fentanyl labs down there, loads of crystal meth labs there, and it's still the head of a lot of these drug trafficking enterprises. Go right back to there. So you have the areas of the south of Culiacan is the real Mayo's heartland. And this is, you go back to the village where he grew up and the area there into the city and some of the southern neighborhoods of the city, some of the still semi-rural areas. The Chapitos, meanwhile, so the Chapitos are the sons of El Chapo. And they're a different kind of organization because they grew up, rather than a lot of the old school drug traffickers, grew up in these mountain villages wearing sandals. The Chapitos, the younger generation, grew up going to private schools, grew up going to, table dance clubs and taking, photographs for Instagram. They grew up, with flash cars, and they revolutionized this with their synthetic drugs and very much control the heart of the city of Culiacan. So the war kicks off on the Monday, the September 9th. A convoy drives in and they start really attacking a target there in a neighborhood called La Campiña. And that's when it starts to explode. Now, since then, and I've just been there on a 3-day trip reporting on the ground there. The city has paralyzed. It's unbelievable to see. A city of 1 million people is basically people who are staying in their houses.
That is
It's
fucking
like a COVID
sad,
lockdown.
bro. That is sad. That is sad. That is sad. And I believe this dude. You know what I'm saying? That is sad. A city of 1 million people just paralyzed, just stuck, can't move, man. Why everybody eating each other out there, boy? Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Shout out Grillo, went and put boots on the ground.
Kids are not going to school. Businesses are not operating. It's like shattering the economy. It's like a city of 1 million has paralyzed. It's unbelievable to see. A city of 1 million people is basically people who are staying in their houses. it's like a COVID lockdown. Kids are not going to school. Businesses are not operating. It's like shattering the economy. And there's this just big fear around. Now, part of the fear is because you've got these two cartel factions at each other. And they're going for their targeting other people's places. So suddenly you see a video of like a neighborhood, it could be a residential community, where they'll smash down the doors and they'll go in there and take somebody out. And then all the rest of the families are like in there like, damn, this is this is where we live. They're going around pulling kids off the street. You have a thing called punteros, who are like they're dubbed like lookouts, small drug dealers, kind of gunmen for the chapitos, particularly these punteros. They were like all around the city, so that the Mayos would go around and pick them up. But then anybody with like a young son of that age, if you've got a young son, 18, 20, you're scared your son's going to get picked up. They pick him up. I was going around covering these different crime scenes. On Sunday, I was up 6:40 a.m. First call. A house they went into, fired 320 bullets.
Rocksteady, remind us. Rocksteady, formerly known as, we forgot. We was trying to say it earlier. We couldn't say it. Mahmoud said they all just focus on Mexico, but Chicago also being abused by the Sinaloa groups. Who's being abused? Tell me about it, Mahmoud. Put me up on game. All right? Nobody's getting it like Mexico. And here's the thing, of course, it is trickling into the United States. Of course, I mean, California is having their problems. Wherever there's a rug market, there's gonna be a problem. It is what it is. Part of the game too. But ain't nobody getting it like Culiacan, dog. I don't know who they is. You said they all just focus on Mexico, man. I get it. Chicago have their problems, but imagine shutting Chicago down with fucking pickup trucks and AKs. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? Rocksteady, formerly known as. Let us know.
Grenade stormed in the house. 40 a.m. First call. A house they went into, fired 320 bullets. Grenade stormed in the house, kidnapped 3 people, and killed a 19-year-old girl. Shot her dead. Her body was in the shower.
Why?
From there, we ran. We drove fast.
Why? That's his first crime scene. Why though? Why? Why'd they do that? That's just chaos. What that got to do with your ops? Was that your ops? What the 19-year-old got to do? Like, it's just, we're past, this is just monster shit. This is not, there's no rhyme or reason. If there is, explain it to me. Do it out. Explain it after you hit the like button, though.
Blitz, grenade, stormed in the house, kidnapped 3 people, and killed a 19-year-old girl. Shot her dead. Her body was in the shower. From there, we ran. We drove fast. Another scene of 5 bodies dumped. They all had sombrero hats on them, and I'll talk about the significance of that in a second.
We saw a picture of that in our gore section on Discord. Again, we also heard radio transmissions of people refuting that, because here's the thing, and I believe they get to it in this. I was half asleep watching this last night, one eye, one open, and they get a little bit to it how. You don't know who's putting those pizzas on people, who's putting those sombreros on people, who's claiming that. They could claim, oh, that's a sombrero guy under that sombrero, or we're the sombreros and we put that pizza guy under a sombrero. We don't know who's doing it. It's a lot of misinformation warfare in this situation, in this war. And we've heard refuting phone calls, or not phone calls, radio frequency calls, of people saying, that those were innocent people under those hats. And then the other people say, oh, those were innocent people under them pizzas. And, oh, y'all lying about people taking innocent people. So it's a big propaganda war going on, too, at the same time that these people are stuck in their crib.
Second. It all drove fast. Another scene of 5 bodies dumped. They all had sombrero hats on them, and I'll talk about the significance of that in a second. They were all decorated and lined there with 5 bodies with these sombrero hats. From there to another scene where there was a house shot up. And from there went to another scene with a naked body dumped. So there's 4 scenes we went to before even 10 a.m. before we'd have breakfast, and we're like, scene. And people are seeing this, and they're all terrified. It's, you know, and this war could be just beginning.
It's definitely just beginning. You know, once you see that the leaders are somewhere in a hot tub somewhere, you know the war is just beginning. There's no lack of paper plate willing to go out there and be disposable in this guerra.
That's scary. And I saw that you wrote something on your subtrack about this. You talk about the economy and how like everyone's just staying in their house. It's
Yeah, Albert, but we don't know that though. That's what I'm saying. It can be anything. Everything is misdirection. It is something that can be misinterpreted. Albert said victims with sombreros are chapiza mocking them. Victims with sombreros are chapiza. Victims with sombreros. You repeated that, but I got you. I get what you're trying to say, but what I'm saying is, we're saying that, right? But it can be used the other way. It can be used the other way.
What an intimidating time. I have something here in my notes that says, with 40 reporters killed and dozens murdered since September, is there any indication that of someone who's winning? Is there a side that's doing better than the other? Is there
40 what? 40 reporters
killed and dozens murdered since September? Is there any indication that of someone who's winning? Is there a side that's doing better than the other? Is there some kind of talk
We've been asking that same question because everybody gonna claim they winning. Some got a better PR team than others.
in the street about it?
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's hard to identify who the victims are on which side they're on. So they do this thing. I call it body messaging.
Here you go. This is it right here, Albert, what he was talking about.
Bodies and decorate the bodies.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly how I felt that day. I remember asking you in the thing, who's who and what's what. You know, are they mocking them this way? Are they claiming it this way? Or what's this and what's that? And we don't have a clear answer. If he don't have a clear answer, we don't have a clear answer.
And I don't know if that word had been used before and I picked it up from somewhere else. I can't even remember now. I call it who the victims are on which side they're on. So they do this thing. I call it body messaging. You know, they get the bodies and decorate the bodies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that word had been used before and I picked it up from somewhere else. I can't even remember now. But body messaging. So you get like, in this case, so they put big sombreros. Now these were sombreros, which they still had the labels on. They went out and before they done the bodies, they like send somebody out, buy a bunch of sombreros, stick them on the bodies. They actually had big ones on their head and these small ones on their chest and their stomach. Now, sombrero.
Shout out Lupe. And in the end, they just take the stand on each other. Correct. After everybody in the town has been stifled for months and traumatized.
Is their stomach. Stick them on the bodies. They actually had big ones on their head and these small ones on their chest and their stomach. Now, sombreros is a nickname for the Mayos group. They call them los sombreros because they used to call El Mayo himself El Señor del Sombrero, the man with the sombrero. But it's unclear if it means the people doing it are the sombreros and they're like, you know, this is our calling card.
Yeah.
Or the victims are Mars and like, ha, you guys, you wear hats, okay? We'll put hats on your dead bodies. Now, the other side, the Los Chapitos, they also call the Chapitos are particularly the sons of El Chapo.
Yeah.
But their whole squads of gunmen, they often call them La Chapiza. La Chapiza is the name they give this. This is gets into kind of sick humor. It's almost dumb if it wasn't so serious. They make Chapiza Chapizza. So they start calling the Chapitos the pizzas. And there was a body dumped. There was actually, a body, they cut the head off the body and stuck the head in a carton of pizza.
We saw
in a
that
box
too.
of pizza, half-eaten pizza. And so, but again, it's not clear. And then another body was dumped with a box of pizza nailed into the corpse. They put the... Again, it's unclear.
You can't tell whether it's who's the one who's claiming that. You just it's obviously identifying one or the other, but
Yeah,
can't tell if yeah. Wow.
Shout out Albert. Albert said, no, that's what it is, because in a couple of videos, when they put the boxes, they say that's what you dirty MFs get for being chapiza. But who's doing it is up in the air. It could be anyone doing it. Yeah, it could be either way. It could be I'm claiming this or I'm misinforming this. It could be whatever. It's all bullshit anyway. Saludos, Shai. Salutes to you, Lupe. Appreciate you coming through. Albert Flores said, I do like his way of analyzing everything, though, on a non-biased perspective. He doesn't have a dog in the race. And I don't see him as fear-mongering me right now. You know what I'm saying? I see him as trying to express what he's seen with his eyes, or what he knows as far as the information that he's given. Narco propaganda is a thing. Just look at the lyrics of Peso Pluma. Look at the lyrics of a lot of them. Not just Peso, but yeah. Propaganda is definitely a thing. I mean, propaganda we saw yesterday. A flyer with everybody's name that was given out and thrown out, and today, turn these guys in. That's propaganda. Go turn yourself. Where's the one with your picture on it? The dude that made that flyer. People think that the barbershop dealer in Illinois are done because of the twins, but that system's still going on. Yeah, that ain't. I don't know how many people think rug dealing didn't end when the twins stopped. That shit kept moving. Salutes. So yeah, there's that. So it could be anything, and these radio calls too. It's so and so, it's so and so. We don't know what.
That's one thing. Now, sometimes you can look at these areas, and you got some clearer areas that are clearly Chapitos controlled neighborhoods, or clearly Mayos controlled towns. There's also, as well as the main city, there's smaller towns and ranches around. So you can look at victims in that area. Now, on the street, a lot of people are more sympathetic to the Mayos side.
Why is that?
And the reason, a couple of reasons there. One, they see them as being more the old school narcos from the countryside, of being more like, these are guys who are...
They got to make a choice between devils. Ain't that crazy? You got to make a choice with the devil. We want the old school devil. We don't want the young city dwelling rich boy devils. Shout out Lupe. He said, Shy Chapitos were given an ultimatum. Turn themselves in. Bite a bullet or get whacked. There's no truce now. I believe he was getting... oh, no, he didn't get into that. He got into the meeting that they had for support. But from my understanding, yeah, that the Chapitos offered some kind of penance to Maito Flaco. Maito Flaco was like, nope. We want the smoke. Get it back in blood. So that's what they doing. Chapitos were giving an ultimatum, turn themselves in by the bullet to get whacked. No truce now. Yeah, I don't see no truce happening. Somebody asked yesterday if this war is going to be 2 years or 10 years, and my answer was, shit. 2 years is just the beginning, Anything after that, I say, okay, who knows what happens, but it's definitely going to be 2 years. I mean, if it stays the way it's going, I thought they would have quelled this shit already. And somebody else said that the military's been pulling out and this and that. It seems like it's going to go on for a while. And like I always say, there's no lack of paper plate, disposable human that ain't prepared for 8 pesos to go out there and fight these dudes.
Have some traffic.
But they got to pick the devil they know right here. There's a ground swelling of support in the streets for the Maitos, according to Ioan Grillo.
See them as being more the old school narcos from the countryside, of being more like, these are guys who have some, they traffic drugs, but they got maybe a bit more kind of values. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but this is the way people see it there. That they kind of, we're not going to carry out massacres and kill women and children, and therefore we're not going to shake you down. We just want to traffic drugs. And the Chapitos, who really control the city, they're kind of a different and more entrepreneurial in some ways. Now, there's certain things they've done to the business. One is, they've been big in synthetic drugs, although the Mayos have as well, and Mayo is charged with fentanyl trafficking among his indictments. but also they run marijuana dispensaries, which are like LA style dispensaries in the city. What you walk in is like LA style, like everything there. And they're accused of shaking down money from the beer industry, and like taking a percentage. Now in Sinaloa, they love drinking beer. They love, they love Modelos and Tecates and all those kind of beers there, and it's a lot of money there. So there's a lot of everywhere. You see big, they call them expendios of beer, and everyone's it's hot and the beer cools you down, and they're getting a cut out of that business, and seen as a bit more predatory in terms of their operation.
They're extortionists. They're extortionists. They're there to tax. So Lupe said, no one in Mexico wants mugrosos who tax the innocent. That's my thing. It ain't the hustle no more. It ain't the game no more. Once you snatching up humans, once you snatching up kids, once you out here, taxing the innocent people, that ain't the hustle. You ain't in the hustle no more, And if you wanted your hustle to move smoothly, you should have made sure that shit didn't happen in those communities. But inheriting the opportunity and taking it upon yourself to oppress the people, that ain't the hustle no more to me. You're a terrorist at that point. And I don't mean it in the governmental sense in the world. I mean it in the Killmonger sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they've got a lot of money, a lot of resources. So a lot of people are saying, the Mayos are going to win this because they've got, allies. I don't think the Chapitos shouldn't be underestimated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people they're taking, a lot of the victims are Chapitos killing Mayos. But we'll see how it plays out.
Officials are warning of a widespread cybersecurity attack.
Shout out Ivan Livas. They're imitating what the Zetas were doing. They figured, hey, man, can't beat them, join them. Let's corner that market.
And delays have continued as countless are still without power. Market volatility is at its highest since the pandemic. There are a number of reports across the state.
Shout out Deb Heiser. Salute to you. Have a great night.
When it says 40 reporters kidnapped.
That's crazy, 40 reporters. I thought you said murked.
When it says 40 reporters kidnapped and dozens murdered during this time, is that something you're familiar with? You've seen some of the local reporters being kidnapped and murdered?
Sorry, that number there, I think it's now higher. Shit. The number was, I think, 40 confirmed murders in total in Culiacan in the week since it kicked off. It's a lot more dead than that, and it's already gone higher than that. It's already about 50 now. But it was about 40. They're confirmed bodies that they've got believed to be from the turf war. As well as that, there's also a similar number of people who've been kidnapped. So a lot of people just getting grabbed to the streets. But a lot of this stuff is stuff that's unreported. Now, there's also violence kicking off in Culiacan itself, and I was riding around with the local cop reporters. They call them Nota Roja, the red news, going around, photographing the dead bodies and stuff, people who are real. They were moving around in the city during daytime. It's okay to move around. They generally won't move around during the night because it's considered too dangerous to go around to these things during the night. And they generally won't go to the scenes outside of the main urban area because they feel there's no security. So if you drive to, if anybody there familiar with this area, there's places called El Dorado. There's places called Saladito. There's places, all these different smaller villages and stuff around. They feel it's just no security. So a lot of deaths are happening out there we don't even know about. Now, in terms of violence against the reporters generally, there's been huge amounts of violence against journalists over the years. While I was in Culiacan, one of the sons of one of the top reporters was kidnapped and held. He made a public plea for him to be released, and he was released. Now, he likely wasn't kidnapped in connection with his dad's work. He was probably kidnapped for being a young guy for different things, and he was released. But there's been in Mexico, in the time I've been in Mexico, more than 150 journalists have been murdered.
Holy smoke.
Hey, yo, man, I got, Shout out Rocio Luna. You know, I'm sure she'll catch the playback or whatever, and you know. But you know, it kind of made me feel bad because she told me the other day, "Hey man, you should hook up with Link Sinaloa and go get boots on the ground." For what? I ain't trying to get kidnapped, man. I got my own Culiacan happening here in Chicago, man. What's wrong with y'all? I'm straight. She want to put me on the ground. He said 150 reporters. Nobody said the Tamalero got a lot of balls and he's not safe. Shout out Lupe, said Ivan Livas, and look what happened to the Zetas. They got ran out of almost every state in Mexico. Yeah, because I don't hear about them as big players in the game as far as you hear about them in the worst way, but I don't hear about them sitting at the table with anybody. Shout out Jonathan Pantoja said, I believe Mexico needs to be reformed from president down to the local police. Because as long as there's someone willing to accept dirty money, whether to turn a blind eye or give private info, yep. That's a tall task right there. Very tall fucking task. 150 reporters, 150 journalists unalived. Jeez. Crazy. But yeah, reform. From top to bottom. What's that cost? Are we too far gone? I don't know, man. Because that's like America too. Like that's like saying we reform. I don't see them changing their minds in DC on how greedy and how much they're willing to step on anybody's neck. I don't know, man. It's a sad story. You gotta go with the devil you know at this situation at this time. Shout out Velez. He said that ain't happening, JP. You know, you gotta go with the devil you know, like they gotta do in Mexico.
In Culiacan, a guy I knew called Javier Valdez, great journalist, great reporter. In 2017, May 15th, 2017, he was shot dead right outside his office in that city as well, Culiacan. So yeah, I mean, attacks on journalists is a big concern. It's been a big concern for a lot of years, yeah.
How about for you personally? Do you ever get death threats or fear for your life?
Well, there's two things. There's one is stuff that happens in the field, and then there's also worry about what what to publish, how this can affect people, and how they're going to react to these things. So all the time, every time I publish a story, I'm always concerned about, okay, how much can I say? I can't say everything always, because you think, do I want to mention that guy's name? Is that going to be real pissed about this if I mention his name, or this or that? But you got to report. In the field, I've had various incidents over the years. One of the worst was going back a decade in Michoacan. I was with a bunch of guys, about 50 guys, who they called themselves a self-defense squad, which is like these vigilantes who were meant to be fighting the cartels. But I realized very quickly these guys were like cartel guys themselves.
Yeah, man. And we said that when they caught them two cupcakes that were traveling through Mexico, and they got pulled over, and they said, oh, these guys weren't cartel guys. They were guys that were defending their neighborhoods from the cartels. They're small cartels, bro. These dudes are playing the game, all right? I ain't seen a hero yet. Like, even Marino Loco, like, he was just playing for the other team. He was just that gangster. He want to go to war with the other side. But the heroes are the Don Alejos and the Santa Miriams. Those are the heroes in that shit. Shout out also, it's possible. No turning back now. It's possible that we're fucked. That's it. Albert Flores said, Javier is the guy the Chapos blame Minnie killed. Is there a context here? Let me know if I missed something. Shout out Jonathan. He said, like Rocha, how knowing Ish was going down and fled to Mexico City and even got a picture with Chavez at the airport. Then he had the nerve to tell everyone's okay. Everything's okay. Y el Rocha. Todo está bien. Paz. Hay paz. Por todo lado. El Rocha. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. Salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Hands up in the chat. Salutes Adrian Torres on the check-in.
And they had these vigilantes who were meant to be fighting the cartels. But I realized very quickly these guys were like cartel guys themselves. And they had a bunch of not only AKs and AR-15s, they had grenades strapped to them, and they had bullets like Pancho Villa style, like bullets across their chests and stuff. And I was photographing these guys, and they were going to be kind of joking, and it was okay. And then this guy turns up and he says, "What are you letting this guy take your photograph from? He's DEA. This guy's DEA." And he said, "Oh no, my brother was arrested and by DEA, and they pretended to be journalists." And I said, "Look, I'm not even American. I'm British, and I'm a journalist." And I don't know if it makes that much difference to them in that moment. But then
there's always the one dummy that's just gonna make up a story just to get some attention and kick up some shit. No different than a troll. He's just a troll with a gun and a death wish.
I showed my website and stuff, and the guy calmed down a bit and he said, "If I see you here again, I'm going to put a bullet in your head. I'm going to throw a grenade at you." It's the way he said this stuff. And I left, and this whole crew went off after that and got in a big gunfight with a big gunfight with some other gangsters. And at the time it happened, I was really just felt pissed with myself. It's like I could have been with them and got the images of the gunfight, and I just missed it out and I messed up.
Yeah, buddy did you a favor by telling you he was gonna clap you up.
I was almost like angry at myself for being chased out of the scene at that moment. But there's been various things that have happened. I've been held up, and I've been had people phone up my hotel and been followed, and a bunch of stuff's happened over the years. Yeah,
it's wild. That's how I always think about you guys who are down there in Mexico, who are doing the work, the boots on ground, and just how you guys. I know what you deal with, and I imagine it's always a sensitive subject of trying to report the truth without giving too much, where it puts your life at risk.
I would just say a note on that as well, that like the journalists who have really taken, been in the front line or taken the bullets of this have been not only Mexican journalists, but Mexican journalists from a lot of the towns and communities where the cartels are strongest. So Mexico's a big country, and there's to add some nuance to this. I mean, Mexico City, where I live, is a city of 20 million, and people can come down here. And the level of violence in Mexico City is actually not that high. It's actually comparable to kind of mid-level US cities. You've got tourist resorts that people are still going to in the millions. You've got some pretty safe areas in Mexico, like Merida, for example. And then you've got these areas which are among the most violent places in the world, like Sinaloa right now, like Sonora, like Baja, like Tijuana, like Guanajuato, like Michoacán, Guerrero, and these kind of places. It's really the journalists from there who are the ones, and it's kind of like, I just went to Sinaloa, and my adrenaline was like pumped like this, and it was pretty horrible, and I came down and I calmed down. Don't take any drugs to calm down except beer, but anyway, calm myself down. But these guys are living with that all the time. That's their. And if something happens, I have a bad situation with somebody, then at least I get on a plane and fly away. But they have that bad situation, and then they go to the pictures and they see that guy there. They go to the supermarket and that guy's there. These are, and that guy be like, "I know where you live. I know where you live." So these guys are really living in really bad conditions. And one thing we have to have a certain responsibility of how I act. And if I go there, I can be a bit gung-ho and pushing this further. But then I know those guys have to, if I piss somebody off, he could take it out on one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because they were with me.
Another question I had is that the current president, he's going to be leaving soon, and Claudia Sheinbaum will be filling in here next. Do you believe that there'll be any difference in the impact with Cartel?
Hell no. I believe there's going to be just as much difference as the United States of America is going to have. No difference whatsoever.
Cartel violence, do you believe that there's going to be some kind of shift?
So the current president, known as AMLO, is leaving. I could make a mixed story about his record overall. It's a bit more complicated, his stuff. I mean, he did things like put the minimum wage up a lot, which that's why a lot of people like him. He gave a lot of scholarships for school kids, high school kids, a lot of families like that to take some extra money. But on the issue of security, he's been bad. He's been a failure. Saying that, the last two presidents were also ultimately failures on security. Enrique Peña Nieto and Felipe Calderón, while he, had a military crackdown, it also ended up with his security secretary, his security minister, imprisoned in the United States on cocaine trafficking charges. So that's going to have bad, right? So he's a lot of people will have heard of him making this slogan, "Abrazos no balazos," or like hugs not bullets, and kind of being mocked for that, like he was weak on cartels. He is. I mean, right now, right now with the Sinaloa wars happening, and he's kind of in denial. He's leaving power in a couple of weeks, but he's in denial, saying, "Oh, it's not really happening. It's just propaganda."
Yeah, Rocha, that's AMLO. You can't hear AMLO. AMLO can't hear the balazos. Remember when those 5 kids, when the media was there looking for what happened to them 5 kids that was missing by the hands of the cartel, and they were asking for answers, and AMLO went like this and shit. That's what he's like with the balazos that's going down in Sinaloa right now. He can't hear them. Yeah, Rocha, we can't find this, Rocha.
But my enemy is trying to make me look bad. It's like, this is happening. You take responsibility. You've got a city of 1 million people that, that are not working and stuff because of this violence. When Claudia Sheinbaum comes in, it's hard to read how she's going to be now. And with any new president, I always like to try and give them the benefit of the doubt about what when they come in. But like, I think she's got a guy called Omar Garcia Harfuch, who she's going to put as a security minister. And he's got a quite tough reputation. He himself survived an assassination attempt by the Jalisco New Generation cartel. He ran security in Mexico City and reduced violence here in Mexico City. So we'll see how he plays out. But then again, she could be, I've seen a couple of statements by her where she looks kind of in denial about this Sinaloa thing. Or I saw one statement where she was saying, we can't go in there attacking these guys or it'll just create a war. I mean, there's already a war happening.
It's already a war. It's already burning, man. What are you people talking about?
So we'll see. And then it'll be interesting as well who she, on the US side, are you going to have as President Trump again or Kamala Harris? And then how's that going to affect the relationship? Because I imagine Trump will be more, maybe more aggressive if he does get reelected, more aggressive this next term and going after cartels and what that will mean. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting one. I'm curious to see how that goes as well.
Shout out Mahmoud. He said this guy is the elite journalist now. Much respect. Salutes. I enjoy listening to dude stuff. Again, it don't sound like he's bullshitting. It sounds like he's shooting it from the cuff. It sounds like he's down the middle with it, and he don't got a dog in this fight, and he don't sound like he's fear-mongering. He give you the facts. He tell you what he know. If something's iffy, he tell you it's iffy. Yeah, salutes Ioan Grillo. He's killing it. But Les Foray said, if higher politicians and law enforcement get corrupted in first world countries, imagine how hard it would be to give money to people in third world countries and corrupt them. Easy. Mexico is booming with development of housing and new factories. Yeah, Chinese factories. Unfortunately, that's why Haiti and these other countries are, and these other oppressed countries are. Dr. Mireyes started the Auto Defensas in Michoacan, and he got terminated a few years ago. He was a good one as far as I know. Well, that's somebody I'd like to look into. I like the heroes. I want to hear about the people that should be on the shirt. All right, so let me take a note of that. Take a note of that right there. Bow. Right. Done. Nothing's gonna change in Mexico. He's been training her for years. I don't disagree. I it's a circus everywhere. Kamala gonna star in the new World War Z Fat Zombie movie. Dr. Mireyes passed away from COVID. I shouldn't have said the word. What? Fuck it. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. We've been here 2.5 hours. Let's get it.
For our side as well as into Mexico once we figure out who our next president is. So my big thought, I've had a couple experts in here that talked about the CJ&G and the fears of them growing in power because of El Mayo. Is there any talks about that? Any concerns about that cartel starting to take more control of Mexico?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. There is, and the Jalisco New Generation cartel grew very big, very fast. They appeared in around 2011. It was one of the first times that they appeared as a paramilitary group called the Zeta Killers. We talk about the Zetas. The Zetas were very predatory, very antisocial, were carrying out horrific shakedowns, all of this kind of stuff. And so everybody wanted the Zetas out of their communities. So they appeared as we're going to come and save you from the Zetas, and kind of guys in ski masks hitting the Zetas. And they took over these places, but then they started doing the same stuff, doing shakedowns. And they grew very, very big, kind of as a franchise operation in some ways, I think, where you kind of set up different places, and they'll kind of, you'll take over regular criminals and they'll become the local faction of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. As you weaken, or as the Sinaloa cartel is a war, then they could try and push into more territories.
Right.
They could ally with one of these sides. And if they ally with one of these sides, it'd probably more likely be the Mayo side, because they've got a history of bloodshed with the Chapito, or a history of beef with the Chapitos. However, they've also been at war with the Mayos, and the Chapitos are pretty, maybe they could look at some tactical alliance, we'll see. It's the problem with trying to defeat the cartels in Mexico, is that whenever you take down a kingpin, you help his enemies, and the lieutenants fight over the turf.
Yes.
So one of the things that's happened in Mexico is, you have one of the big kingpins used to be was a guy called Arturo Beltran Leyva, massive trafficker. Arturo was taken down, was shot dead by the Mexican Marines. They stormed in and shot him dead, decorated his body. Do we know the story about this as well, where afterwards one of the Marines was killed, and there was a public funeral for the Marine to celebrate what a hero he was. And then they went in and killed his entire family at his wake. They killed his mother, his aunt, his sister. It was sick. But anyway, Arturo Beltran.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy story about it. Arturo Beltran Leyva was killed. So then and then they went in and killed his entire family. Afterwards, one of the Marines decorated his body. Do we know the story about this as well, where afterwards one of the Marines was killed, and there was a public funeral for the Marine. To celebrate what a hero he was, and then they went in and killed his entire family at his wake. They killed his mother, his aunt, his sister. It was sick. But anyway, Arturo Beltran.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy story about Arturo.
I was saying I want to know what that story is. That story that he's talking about the Marine that took out Beltran. My apologies. I appreciate y'all for letting me know. Shout out Izzy P. Chiba on the check-in. Check-in for the assist. Salutes. I want to know about that story. And what else was I saying? Oh, I was saying that I might have looked into this Dr. Mireles thing before and felt like he became the monster too. It might have been something we covered already. So, but I'll look into him. I'm looking for, but if there's anybody that knows of any heroes that fought back against the cartel, like Don Alejo or Santa Miriam, go check out our Don Alejo video and our Miriam video. Two people that took the cartel head on. Salutes to them. They deserve to be on the shirt. Them the gangsters as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I was saying. I appreciate y'all for letting me know. My apologies. Sometimes shit happens.
Hickman's used to be was a guy called Arturo Beltran.
Shout out Pachuco. Saludos. Grillo does good work. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. He might be my favorite, Oakland journalist right now.
Never. Massive trafficker. Arturo was taken down, was shot dead by the Mexican Marines. But they stormed in and shot him dead, decorated his body. Do we know the story about this as well? Where afterwards, one of the Marines was killed, and there was a public funeral for the Marine to celebrate what a hero he was. And then they went in and killed his entire family at his wake. They killed his mother, his aunt, his sister. It was sick. But anyway, Arturo Beltran.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. But Arturo Beltran never was killed. So then you had under him, you had these different cartels, cartelitos, even like small cartels, emerged underneath. So then you had this group called the Guerreros Unidos. You had a group called Los Rojos, and all the others fighting amongst themselves. So you have these little factions, and you end up with kind of just like groups of kids. Sometimes there's 100 kids with AK-47s run by some 20-something-year-old, just doing crazy stuff because they've got no leader anymore to keep them in order. So I don't pretend to know exactly what the answer is, but I don't want to say these guys should have impunity because these guys shouldn't. These guys are committing terrible stuff. But it's a problem in terms of what is the strategy? What is the US strategy for actually trying to deal with this problem?
Yeah, that's I don't think we've had the spillover potential yet, but it is a concern of ours knowing that El Mayo is now gone. It kind of weakens their forces who have kind of kept order in their areas of operations. But now that there's an internal struggle,
now they're everywhere.
It's almost like, their heads are turned.
Look at LA. LA is Sinaloa Cartel territory.
Absolutely.
And so now you've got Mayos and Chapitos in LA, and there's been a few incidences of violence there, which are questionable. Like there's a guy who was killed who was very big in East LA. I'm not sure exactly where he was living. I forget where he was living, but a guy called El Mago, who's meant to be a big guy about Chapitos, and he was shot dead in LA. Could be a different beef. But some other more directly related cartel beefs in San Diego. There looks like some, things there. So you've got the concern about I would say definitely long term in the US, you have to worry about these cartels in the US because they're so entrenched. And
there you go, Mahmoud. They're so entrenched. Again, they here too. CJ&G here too. But shit ain't looking like Culiacan right now. But they can get there if we don't get a hold of this shit. Shout out Mahmoud said the Marines were paid to not be sold. That's why you see the picture of the Beltran cover with dirty money. It's the same with our war. Split and conquered. Facts. Hipólito Morra was the real OG. I need to see what that's about.
So powerful, and you have to the US has to look at these in a way like it did the mafia or something else and think, okay, we can't let these guys. I mean, the US has been quite good about trying to stop the murders spilling over, and there was cases like Los Palillos, who are a bunch of guys from Tijuana cartel who kind of broke away and ran into San Diego and started leaving a bunch of bodies in San Diego and dissolving people in acid and shit in San Diego right now by the border, but also in other states. They started doing stuff in other, spreading around the US. It's been quite good, but you got to keep that up, I think. Because
I remember, I believe it was Chucky that said that shit started to get crazy out west, and these dudes was running around with all kind of weapons, and they had to quell that shit. Because, bro, you give an inch, psychopath would take 1,000,000 miles from you. So, but that Mago incident doesn't have anything to do with CDS beef. Yeah, from my understanding, that was just some stupid shit that happened. El Mago, I always forget to ask the twins if they met him. I don't know. I don't know if we covered. I know he spoke on it. I don't know if we asked if he met him or not. San Diego incident have everything to do with CAF. The Nini ordered the hit on El Mago. I don't know. From what I hear, Mahmoud, it wasn't a hit. From what I hear from people on the ground in California, and I don't know where you at. Maybe you there. People were saying that was a beef over a table or some shit.
Otherwise, and the first victims of these kind of crimes are going to be in the Hispanic communities, in the Mexican American communities, where these people are closest, are going to be the first victims of these guys.
Man, I really appreciate your time, sir.
Shout out Rocco, man. Great interview. He asks good questions. He shuts up about it. He lets the guy talk. You know what I'm saying? Salutes to him.
Yo, and it's been very informative. I enjoyed the information you gave us. Your experience on the ground is awesome. I hope that we stay, connected, because I really am fascinated by your work. I got to watch a lot of your YouTube stuff this morning and read some of your articles, and so I really appreciate your time today and joining us and giving us your information.
Really appreciate it. Great to be talking to you, and I'd like to hear some more from you sometime about the questions for you about training some of those, the people who train some of those SETA guys and all that kind of stuff. I'd be very interested to hear your stories and stuff from the Border Patrol. If I may give a shout, if anyone wants to check out more of my work, can I give a shout to?
Absolutely, please.
So if you can go to www.trashoutmedia.com. That's my Substack, my newsletter. I've got stories there every week or twice a week. You can sign up for free, completely really appreciate it. Or there's also a pay function for somebody's stories if you want to help out the cause. But yeah, great to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll connect with you probably on X or something.
Come on, guys. Let's do a whole panel here, man. Get them all together, man. Get Ian. I got to stop calling them Ian. It's Ioan. Ioan, Rocco, get Ed Calderon in there. We'll get your boy Johnny Mitchell on the panel. Everybody StreamYard in, you know what I mean? Salutes. 100 up in the chats for y'all. Salutes Ioan Grillo for killing it. I mean, we didn't learn nothing new. What did we learn new? Nothing really. We knew they went and got alliances. We didn't know with who. We went up and down that list. But we didn't know about that little meeting, but we knew a meeting happened. A bunch of meetings had to have happened. There was a lot of time in between. People were wondering where the bloodshed was, and everybody was in a holding pattern doing what they had to do. They got it done, and now everything's on fire. So it is what it is. All right. Let's see. Let's give away 5 more memberships, all right? 100's up in the chat for 5 more memberships. We got 37 likes. Let's get to 40 likes, and we'll give out 5 more memberships. And then we'll get out of here. If y'all don't have nothing to add, talk to me. Shout out Ivan Livas, or rather, I remember one of the twins speaking about Imago, saying nothing but good things about him. He always behaved like a gentleman. Salutes, Ivan Livas. Because I don't remember nothing. I didn't even remember from the podcast about that watch. Where Jay was like, yeah, he gave me a better gift than the watch. He gave P the watch. I was like, what'd he give you? What'd he give you? And I had forgot all about it, that from the podcast, that, the gift was he gave him his brother back. But it's just so much information, man. So much information, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even really gotten nowhere yet. But I do believe that we're informed enough on the topic that we can talk to anybody in the world about this topic, as far as the people that are out here talking about it that probably don't know about it. And we probably think they know more about it than they do. But I think we could hold up, man. They didn't cover nothing in this interview that we haven't covered over here since the moment it started going down. So salutes. Izzy P. Chivas, salutes. Goes to show, never judge a book by its cover. This guy provided some great content. Nah, dude's a good journalist. I remember when the snatching happened, and we listened to his account of what he was hearing, and I was like, that sounds about right. Jay was the first one, came in here and said from the beginning. He was before I even went live, which I went live right after he told me. What did he say? Oh, he said, man, they kidnapped him. That was from the jump, but nobody wanted to hear that shit. That old man the legend was too deep. It was too thick, So, whatever. Still at 37 likes, man. We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to shut it down and not give away this next 30 days of memberships. Still waiting to see what great, meaningful Jay got gift. Shy, I'm still waiting to see what great, meaningful gift Jay got gifted. No. Yeah, no, it was Pete. You're not waiting. No, you're the one that told me. Or are you quoting me right there? Yeah, I think you're the one that told me. He was like, bruh, his brother. I was like, oh. I would say Hipólito Mora was part of the Autodefensa group. Mirellas was the leader. A couple of leaders got turned out. Mirellas' problem was women. Hipólito Mora kept it OG to the end. R.I.P. Burned alive. We shall see. I want to look into that. Charles Orada. Yep, Jay called it. He called before I even went live that day. He called it. So, salutes. If you have yet to hit the like button, please do so. For all the newbies that came through today, please hit the subscribe button. We do this on a regular basis. We put in a lot of work over here, and the platform gives us very little love. So you tell me if I'm right or wrong, guys. Today, the platform, El Tubo, told me to be in a survey. Survey only take you 5 minutes. And the survey was basically, are you a content creator on this platform? Yes. Do you feel like this platform is doing everything to help you? I don't know if people lie on those things, but I told the truth, man. That shit was no's all the way down that report card. Every question that they asked me, except for 1 or 2, was nope, nope, nope. I strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Now, maybe they'll penalize me more for that. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they'll show me some love. All right? But we'll see how that goes. But I need y'all help. Y'all help is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're getting entertainment from me, it is what it is. Again, if you want to be a troll, you could pay to be a troll around here. All of that good stuff. But yeah, I gave it to him straight. And I told him what it was and what I felt like. So we'll see what happens. All right, but we keep on pushing. Best thing you can do for us, hit the like button. Don't be a hater. That's just disgusting. You can't just do some free little, you know. Does a whole lot for the channel, get you popping in the algorithm. So shout out Jonathan C. Join the Discord for the after party where it's popping. If you're 18 plus. Shout out Yael for joining the Discord during today's broadcast. Let's see, where's this at? Let's get this Discord link into the chat. Make sure you guys go to the other playlists and check out a video that you have yet to see on this channel. Hit the like button. Salutes. Again, props to Ironclad. I'll drop the channel link again for Rocco's channel. Again, he was a soldier, border patrol agent. Salutes. Hit the like button. Nobody wants those 5 memberships to go out. I'm trying to get 40 likes. Can I get 40 likes before I give out memberships? There's the author of Kim Porter's tell-all book, confronted over false claims about Tupac, Diddy, and Kim Porter. It's a 2-hour video, so I might just make a separate video that I won't do live and just put that out as an uploaded video. At some point this week, we'll be going members only, do a members only video. I'm trying to give away the 5 more members only for the next 30 days, and we got 1 more like we need. So, you know, we're holding out. I'm in a holding pattern, or else I'll just shut it down before we get that 1 solitary little like. Let's see. What did we cover today? We covered Diddy. 120 new accusations, allegations, victims, and civil lawsuits, 120 plus. Now, they done walked into it being about children, abusing men, abusing women. 60 and 60, evenly distributed. 60 men, 60 women. Shout out Jonathan. Mukbang members only will have to be on a day where I plan it ahead of time and let you guys know a date. So no, it won't be that one. We'll figure that out. We'll plan that. Shout out Eddie Jimenez. Hundreds up. I still see 39 likes. One more like, and I'll give away 5 memberships for the next 30 days to view the members only content on this channel. Salute to y'all for hanging out. Boom, we got our 40 likes. All right, let's.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Let's give away 5 memberships. All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Sparta!
Noticiero. All right, it's gonna give it to people that have been around, but we don't see much of them. So salutes to y'all. Let's hope you use y'all shit. All right, I don't recognize none of these names. I usually wish that it would go to people that are here on a regular basis, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Maybe these are ghost watchers. I don't know how YouTube picks. I said the name of them. Can't even say their own name on this channel because I don't know. I don't even know, man. I'm afraid of everything that gets flagged. But so salutes to them. Congratulations to y'all. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Saturday we got fight night. So Saturday I'll be doing a play-by-play on the fight night. I'll be doing a live stream from the living room. All right, congratulations to the winners. Hopefully we see more y'all. Legendary play-by-play calling if you become a member. Salutes. I'll be doing a play-by-play. Sometimes we start off members only, and then we go live with unify with everybody, and I'll do the play-by-play of the fight. All right. So as I said, El Tubo failed me. They be failing. El Tubo be failing me on a regular basis. They're gonna clap me for something. Before we get out of here. All right, let these ring out. For those who haven't seen The Usual Suspects, the film, it's a must if you're into movies. All right, but shout out to The Usual Suspects. All right, I think that was the last one. Boom. All right, man. Salutes. Congratulations to the new members, all right? But yeah, so we'll be going members only very soon. And I'll be keeping y'all updated. There's probably other stuff to look at, other radio stuff. There's some stuff in the Discord that I got to check out. I'm going to start making it a habit of doing a little bit more off the live stream sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I want to sit down and watch something, completely focus, give my breakdown, and put it out to you guys at a later date. And then we go live in the chat. So we'll be doing a lot of that too. I'm trying to balance things out to keep the algorithm moving. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how that goes. All right? But I appreciate y'all for hanging out tonight. Let me get in the chat, give some hollers. Salutes to Jonathan Pantoja for the donos. Salutes JFL, Deb Heiser, JP, salutes, Eddie Jimenez, Velez 408, Raven Jefferson, Brother Old Soul, salutes Velez. Albert Flores, Carlos, Chillax. Come on. I broke it. Salutes Deb Heiser, Eddie Jimenez, George Mendoza. Salutes Pete Never, Young Jizzle. Shout out JFL. Salute Zoraida. Pure Art, come back, bro. Told you not to produce the show, you left. Carlos Resendez, salutes to you. Ivan Livas, Adrian Torres, salutes. Lupus, salutes to you. Mahmoud, I appreciate your input today. Salutes. Yeah, salutes Adrian Torres. Izzy P. Chiva, I appreciate you. El Pachuco, salutes to you. Ivan Livas. I got it. All right. Salute Zoraida, Eddie Jimenez. I appreciate you guys for hanging out tonight. Welcome. Only one way out this organization now. Salutes. All right. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night. And I will see you maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Por ahí, por acá, por allá. All right. For those that pray, say a little prayer for the people of Culiacan tonight. All right. Salutes. I will holla. Peace.
Hanging from a thread till you dead, cause your partner put a price on your head. Cause your chick was laying up in his bed. She getting details, spitting every word that you said. She working retail, thirsty bitch just trying to get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale, a fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep part. You a savage, you can have it, just show all your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, a soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this lands for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shiver, this a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers would shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving.